afternoon from a very quiet Sydney Harbour for the opening day heat of the 2023 JJ Giltinan Championship for the 18-footers. Hello and welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching. We welcome you all to this first heat, and it's a very quiet harbour, but we'll come to that in a minute. This championship, the 2023 JJ Giltinan's, brought to you by the Winning Group.
When you're creating your forever home, how do you sense quality? First, you can see it. You can hear it. You can touch it. Then you can smell it. And finally, you'll be able to taste it. Create your forever home with Winning Appliances.
Well, hello, I'm Peter Shipway, and again with the Sale Media team, Jimmy Bury and multiple JJ Giltinan winner, Andrew Buckland. Andrew, good afternoon. Firstly to you, let's talk about the weather. Well, there's a lot to talk about, isn't there?
Well, there's a lot.
Or there's not a lot, or there is a lot.
There's a lot and there's not much at the same time, and simultaneously as well. So, folks, weak high pressure cell located middle about 600 miles to the south of us down near Hobart, and the resulting really weak pallid gradient easterly and with very little prospect of any thermal. So what you see is what we're going to get, and probably just some little trickly bits of nor'east, but mostly 4 to 10 easterly, and very tough day for the cruise.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of dots to join, and where we are down at the starting area near Clark Island, we've got lucky to have 5 or 6 knots. But we say good afternoon to you, Jimmy Bury, and the course please for today.
G'day Shippo. Yeah, the course today is course 2, which is the easterly course. The starters have reserved the right to move the start over here where there's a bit of breeze just near Clark Island. They'll work their way up into a busy Rose Bay, then back down to Clark Island, round a mark there, down to Carrabba Point, then work their way all the way back up to Rose Bay, straight back down to Carrabba Point, up to Rose Bay, and then just a little quick run to the finish here off Clark Island.
Well, you can see the skiffs there on screen there, very light airs. They're just, Spinnaker's just hanging there, and we're still about 15 minutes or so away from the scheduled starting time, and looking upwind, there's not much more breeze, probably a little bit more towards Shark Island, but we'll talk about that as the day goes on. And today's heat, the first heat of these championships for this year, is being sponsored by Birkenhead Point Marina, and the overall championship, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the Winning Group, the overall championship sponsors. And today's first heat, the boys will be racing for the George Calligaris Memorial Trophy. The late George Calligaris was the owner of the Rag and Famish Hotel, located in North Sydney, just over the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and has sponsored boats in the club's fleet since 1996. But was a great supporter, and since in 2001, his boat won the JJ Giltinan World Championship, skippered by John Harris, who's got the privilege of putting the ribbon on the champion this year. But since George passed away, his children, Peter and Anna, have continued the sponsorship and have donated this trophy to be raced for race 1 each year, as they've done for many years. And I saw Pete Calligaris in the park today. He was very buoyant and looking forward to the championship, and why wouldn't he be? The Rag and Famish boys have been doing an exceptional job, and they've put themselves very much on the top line of favouritism. But at the moment we're waiting. There's the Balmain Slate just dropping their spinnaker. It is still very light, Andrew.
Well, Pete, the committee's well across the conditions. They've had lengthy discussions from about 12 o'clock this morning. You know, easterly course is the correct call in my view, and they will endeavour to start on time and hope that the general recall type situation doesn't arise. I think they'll get the full course done, but it's a tough day, as we said, for the cruise.
Yeah, so this is the first heat of 9, and somewhat of an anti-climax. The forecast was a lot stronger from the nor'east. At the moment it's lucky to be 6 or 7 knots here at the starting area, but we welcome a lot of viewers to this Sale Media stream. We've got Andy McIntosh again from Thailand. Welcome to you, Andy. Greg Rosenkrantz has asked what's happened to Honda Marine. Well, they're the three-time champion from New Zealand, and unfortunately no New Zealand boats are here this year. We hope to see them next year. Jim Evans, great to have you aboard, Jim. He's shoveling snow in Prince Edward Island in Canada.
Wow.
So he and Anna love the 18. So I think we're a bit warmer than you, Jim, but welcome to you. And a lot of people coming in to say they're watching. So to all of us, all of you, we say hello. And of course, our friends from Cumbria in England, Heidi and Austin Lyons, they've gone for the podium again. They've really... There they go. Welcome to you guys. Heidi has gone for Andu, and Austin has picked Noakes Big Pete. Well, they're two good solid predictions there. So each heat they're going to put out their favourites. So we welcome you guys and hope you're enjoying it in early morning in probably a coldish England. But at the moment we're here at the starting area off Clark Island for this Heat 1 of this 2023 championship, and there's not much action.
Well, Pete, there's a lot of action. The breeze have been going back and forth, 30 degrees and up and down from nearly nothing to about 10 knots. And we didn't mention the tide, don't mention the war, but dead low at just after 2, and so we're in weak flood, 0.8 of a metre of rise, and so that will indeed have an effect. Like the beats long and the runs shorter, and make it a little bit harder to get up the long beat.
Of course, all skiffs very much on their big rigs, and we'd like to say hello to John F from Connecticut, USA. Good afternoon to you, John, or good evening, whatever the time is over there. Amanda Ashley Jones, looking forward to her coming up next week to watch her son maybe put the ribbon on, get the ribbon put on, who knows. Peter O'Connor checking in from Vail, Colorado. Hoping to see the lad put in a good one. Presumably that's Dave O'Connor's dad, and Malcolm from Portland, Oregon, where it's raining, he tells me. So
good stuff.
So it's great to have you all aboard and watching, and we're going to have a tricky sort of day, but a lot of questions to be asked in this coming week. Michael Coxon and John Woody winning, the only current skippers to have previously won the JJs. Can Michael Coxon in Smeg overcome the loss of sheet hand Ricky Bridge and make it 5 JJs? But in James Doran, have a worthy replacement on the sheet? And can Woody, winning, turn back the clock some 23 years and repeat his 2000 success? And of course, can Sevi Jarvan win his 10th title, this time as crew on the defending champion Andu, 8 of his previous as skipper, and last year dominant at the helm of Andu. Once before he's won as crew on Club Marine in 2005. So if Andrew get up this time, it'll be 10 championships for Sevi. That's even more than you've got, Andrew.
And coming up to 20 years in the class, which is probably more than any man should.
Yeah, or will there be a new champion who've never won previously? Harry Price on the Rag and Famish, high on the favourites list due to recent strong showings. Can Herman winning at the helm of Andu, with previous winners amongst his crew, Sam Newton and Sevi Jarvan, repeat the success of his father all those years ago? And again, heavily favoured, especially after his impressive win in yesterday's invitation race. Keegan York, could he get up and win? The Australian Championship, he won in Finport. Another who'll come highly into calculations. Another veteran in Sean Langman, skippering Big Pete. Certainly cannot be discounted, along with Lazarus, Marcus Ashley Jones, we mentioned previously. Or could the Germans win the title for the first time ever with Black Knight? Or will we see a major upset and perhaps one of the younger skippers break through? Skippers such as Henry Larkin, Tom Kunich, or Kirk Mitchell even. So many questions, and we don't have any answers. We'll have the answers in about a week's time, but today it could be very tricky, as we said, and there could be a few surprises in store, I would think, Andrew.
It's an awkward way to find the answer, isn't it, Pete? 9 races, my goodness. Yeah, but today actually will be a pretty interesting test, and what we've observed, I think, is that, you know, the most reliable boat probably has been Rag and Famish. at times the fastest boat has been Andu. And so that's kind of the equation. I think with the prospect of fairly light air, Andu starts as a favourite. And plenty of other guys be asking questions every day. But, you know, for time on the boat and strength of team and preparation, those two boats are the favourites.
Well, we've got 24 boats. We'll be starting today. They're all out here. Team Japan, an interesting boat. Jimmy, talk to us about the crew aboard Team Japan.
Well, Nobu Ono is steering today. He's under the guides of John O'Witty. He's been their mentor for the week. And then Takayua Arata hasn't sailed for native skiff for I think some 30 years. He bought the old AAMI and coming back, and Brandon Boink is jumping on the sheet upwind and then swapping to the bow downwind. If anyone can do it, Jesus' son can do it. So.
Anyway, so the Australians will be renamed Jono's son and Brandon's son.
Yes, and I believe Berger's jumping in on the program as well, Mike Kennedy. Berger's son
for the last 2 days. All good.
Well, as you say, what possibly could go wrong with all that happening? But anyway, it's great to see a team from Japan out here, notwithstanding there's a couple of Aussies on board, but they're flying the Japanese flag. And we're just hovering around at the starting area in Clark Island. Light winds, probably 5 to 6 knots. Breeze gone a little bit to the left, looking upwind, Andrew. Look at the old vintage skiffs. They're quite high on port tack.
Pete, stop worrying about left or right. Just worry about is the
pressure,
wind, yes or no. It's a binary type yacht race.
Binary type yacht race.
Definitely
okay.
a day to keep your head out of the boat, isn't it?
Absolutely. What's the first rule you got in, Petey? You know this so well. Don't go when the wind isn't. First rule.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Very good advice.
Yes. I know you've had trouble with it over the years, but
you never stop learning in this game, Andrew. You never stop learning.
And that is fortunate, is it not?
Yeah, well, there's the Balmain Slake. And Jimmy, just correct me, the Japanese boat, what's their sail insignia? Have
They've stripped all the signage off. It was one of the old Balmain Slake boats.
That's right,
They're just behind us, just behind the other side of the ferry. They're in an old Yandu hull with a old Balmain Slake headsail and I believe mainsail and headsail. So I don't know what the spinnaker situation is, but we'll find that out at some point.
I hope they remember to put a spinnaker on the boat with all those blokes involved. Brandon and Jono. That's the great Bobby Joyce story. Remember that in the Century Battery? I tell it each year, but it's worth telling again. They were Black Nor'easter at the Peashall Boy, and Bobby Joyce says to forward hand Ricky Priestley, put the little one up, Ricky. Ricky says, I can't, Bobby. Why not? I left her in the park. so there we go. 5 minutes to go. Hope you're well, Bobby, and Biggles Priestley, if you're watching. Two great characters of 18 years gone past. There's Team Japan. There we go.
Pete, but we should explain that was in the day when you took 3 spinnakers with you.
Jesus with the helmet on.
Yeah.
No need for too much explanation, Bucko. They left her in the park.
Is that right?
Yes. Okay, there's Team Japan looking a bit wobbly early on.
He wouldn't be the first and nor the last, Peter, that did that. Don't worry.
Just remember that's Yandu. There's 2 Yandus out here, but that's the Japanese Yandu. And the other Yandu, of course,
4 minutes here.
is John Woody winning, endeavouring to turn the clock back 23 years and win the title for the second time.
So Woody doesn't believe in Father Time or King Canute, Pete. Is that what you're telling us? A little bit of breeze here, though, guys. Nice.
Yes. So
just enough to get rolling.
Okay, 4 minutes. The first beat from Clark Island. We're just to the northwest of Clark Island and then up into Rose Bay near Shark Island. Going to be a tricky beat. Not much wind. Little puffs coming from the left and the right. Okay, Andrew, which way are we going?
We're going mid-right, Pete, and staying in the wind. I told you that already.
Mid-right. Okay.
Yeah. A little bit of compression against Clark Island on the right-hand edge at the bottom here. and a little bit of compression up the top of Shark. Hard to join the dots between, but that'll have to do as a theory.
It looks as though you'd want to stay out of the left, wouldn't you, at the moment where we are looking upwind, but let's see what transpires up here with 3 minutes 20 to go.
And the flood tide making it probably a little bit more difficult.
And that starting line, wow, it looks committee boat favoured, doesn't it, at the moment?
Well, I think that the fleet will have figured out that the right edge is the right way to go, so
They'll all be up here.
the nearer you can get to Clark at this point in time, the better it looks, I think. So Clark, for the viewers, is about 150 metres to the starboard side of the committee boat and about 75 upwind. There you go. Chits has got it done. Lovely committee boats near the red, the yellow and white ferry, obviously. Can't see the grey committee boat on the grey harbour.
Okay, 2 minutes 40 to go. And the first heat of the 2023 JJ Giltinan Championship, racing for the George Calligris Memorial Trophy. The race sponsor today is Birkenhead Point. And we've got just coming up to 2 minutes 20. The fleet not in great pressure, that's for sure.
There's one of the old 18s sailing through the fleet.
The Mighty Yendies.
The Mighty Yendies.
Jimmy?
Having a shot at the title again, are they?
No, they're just participating in the ordinary squadron race. God almighty. Going through the fleet on port, but they're favouring the right edge significantly.
We're pretty much in transit with the starting line now. And 1 minute 45. There's the Yendies threading her way through the fleet. Just showing the quite a different sail plan from yesteryear.
1931 design, Pete, so a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's the pin end. And you can see the majority of the fleet up at the committee boat end.
Wow, this isn't shaping up too good here.
No, it's very light, very light.
Well, Pete, there's wind, but there's too many boats in a very small space.
If you don't get off the line, there'll be a lot of lack of pressure behind this fleet.
I think the Japanese are going to get the
Peak early.
peak early here.
1 minute. 1 minute, we'll be underway. Oh, there's a long sound signal. Oh, the Hoffel House boys are up near the committee boat there a little bit early. They've got to bail out.
Everybody's early at the top.
And a bit of yelling starting. Finport right at the committee boat. He's going to be early with 40 seconds to go. He's got to bail out. Keegan's bailed out.
He won't particularly mind that, I don't think.
No.
Be keen to start at the boat. Big puff coming around the corner, looking upwind now.
Yeah, hard in the right too.
Hard in the right, so...
Okay, we've got 25 seconds. They're just holding back. They're holding back. At the moment, it's Bigfoot. The Queenslander looks to be close to the line. Oh, Marine Outlets starting to progress. Oh, Lazarus Youth up at the committee boat. Marine Outlets over.
Gone.
5 seconds. I think it's going to be General. I think it's General. They're away. That's the start. Let's see what happens.
No, they could call them back, I think, Pete. 1, 2, 3, 4 boats. 5 boats.
General recall flag.
No, it's a General. Well, probably to be expected. Everyone a little jumpy, a little nervous. Boy, not much wind down that pin end. Not much wind anywhere. But we're coming back to do it again. So where do the good guys start then? Rag and Famish, as usual, got a pretty good start mid-line. Andu was boxed in. Finport missed it completely. But they probably realised it was going to be a General and probably held back, hoping it was a General. So we're going to do it all again.
So, again. So a bit of a challenge here for the committee. I think they probably need to let some anchor chain out or something.
Yeah, heavily favoured the boat end. Everyone wanted it, really.
And not so much from an angle standpoint, but just proximity
Pressure.
to the next path. Yeah, the best bit of wind was on the right edge. Difficult to start too far down. But you can see that the Rag has got its game hat on and thinking, well, we're fast enough, we'll be okay. We just got to stay clean and not eat dirty air. And 9 races later, we should be able to win.
Yeah.
And talking to, you know, both the favourites, Andu and Rag, they're both very happy with where they are preparation-wise and technically, so they would all say we're ready to rock and roll. And whereas fit for the back in the fleet, people are still making significant changes. So the well-supported boats at the front, and to make the point that in, say, the Rag and Famage crew, the Price family, you know, Tommy Woodcock and the coach Larry Cargill, Tommy's a shipwright, all supporting the effort of the guys on the water and in a very positive way, and that's what brings them forward week to week.
Well, we're just waiting for more new signals after the general recall.
I'll tell you who might go fast today is Big Pete. Big Pete?
Yes.
You with me?
I am.
On screen now. And, you know, great deal of respect for those guys and for Ed Powery's in the middle, who's been working pretty fiercely, and Reese, obviously, in the bow. Terrific sailors. And they're a chance to win one against the odds a little bit today, Pete. Breeze pressing in just a fraction, a little cooler, but still dead set easterly.
Yes, the first beat up into Rose Bay will be tricky, as we keep saying, because there's not much wind for this first heat of the 2023 JJs. Wherever you're watching around the world, we say hello to you, and hope you can join us throughout the week with the series to finish tomorrow week on the harbour. And the U flag is up, Andrew.
Okay.
The U flag. You know what that means?
It's the old-fashioned round the ends jobby, is it not?
No.
No, not anymore. Oh, dear. I've forgotten, Pete. Tell us. Tell the viewers.
Jimmy, do you know?
It's a percentage, isn't it? A percentage penalty of your over. What is it, Pete? Come on.
I'll keep you guessing.
Well, someone's got to be smart on here, and we've tipped you into that job.
No, and Bucko's the brains. He's won all the JJs.
Yeah.
He's
under different rules to those which currently exist, Peter.
You and I have won 7 together, Bucko. You
Yeah, I know.
that? In total. In total.
That's right. 3.5 to you and 3.5 to me. I get it. I get it.
So we're still waiting for the...
Is it in the list of their 57 new rules that they brought in for this event, Bucko?
I didn't read the details of the 57, Jimmy. I just
Looked at it and shook your head.
tallied it up and said...
Okay, I'll put you out of your misery.
Stop it. Go, Peter.
U flag rule reads, if the U flag has been displayed at no part of a boat's hull, crew or equipment shall be in the triangle formed by the ends of the starting line and the first mark during the last minute before her starting signal. They can't be over and come back as such. Okay?
It's like a soft black flag, effectively, but you still get to race.
Yes.
Well, hang on. How's it different to the black flag?
Because black flag if you're over, you're out, right?
Yeah.
So this, you get to still race, and they I think it's 20% or something, isn't it, the deduction? Or gets added to your score?
It would normally be flown following a general recall. It forces sailors to be less aggressive in their sailing tactics by restricting their movements and severely penalising an early start.
So what's the penalty, Pete? 20%?
Well, is it 20%?
Someone on the chat will know.
Yeah. I thought it was the old reheated round the ends rule, but...
No.
Mr. Google has the answer.
Okay, well, the general recall flag is down and we've got 6 minutes to go. Hopefully we can get underway, no one will be over, and we'll have a good, clean, tricky race.
Good, clean, tricky race. Yeah, breeze just a little bit more stable since the sun stopped shining on the harbour.
A few more yachts have cleared the harbour, so the runway's a little clearer looking upwind. There's just a lot of lasers right up near the weather mark. There's Andu, highly fancied. A great win yesterday in the invitation race.
It's taking their transits of the line there, Pete. You could hear them talking. They don't have one of those machines on board that gives you distance to line. They just rely on the good old eye on what they see in a transit.
Mark one eyeball.
So they certainly had their game face on yesterday. They sailed a very, very good race in small sail rig. There's 5 minutes to go. There's Marine Outlet, Cam Gundy, Johnny Walton and Marcus Sampson.
Yeah. Marcus Sampson, I think the youngest competitor. Good on you, Marcus.
There you go, 20% penalty is the...
20. So Jimmy was right, Shippers.
Yeah, U flag, same as Blake flag, except can start if race restarts.
A restarted race, yeah.
That's from Longy, so sort of, hope he knows what's going on. It's a PRO.
Yeah, you'd think he does.
Okay, very light still around the starting area. If you've just joined us, you haven't missed anything. They've had one general recall and we're about to get underway again for the first heat of the 2023 JJs on the harbour in light conditions. Tricky easterly, 6 knots at best, maybe 7, more likely 4 or 5. There's 4 minutes to go.
This will be a classic, Pete, don't worry.
So it's a day that could surprise with the results.
Yeah.
It's one of those days that get your nose out in front. You could easily be run down.
There is 6 to 7 up towards Shark Island. So they've just got to transition their way up to a little bit more pressure just rolling in, but the same direction, dead set easterly.
So tide coming in, but not a strong tide, is it, Andrew?
No, they'll end up with 1 knot of flow roughly. So that's enough to make a difference, obviously.
3:20, and I don't think they've moved the pin. I think the starting line remained the same.
But peak flow.
And that's the view of the overhead shot. You just see Clark Island bottom right of screen and Garden Island top of screen and the mighty Sydney Harbour Bridge. And the 18s just milling about in light air with 3 minutes to go. Marine Outlet, and that's the Japanese friends there, and it's going up with a black mainsail and a white headsail. If you're watching from Japan, we say, what do we say hello in Japan? Bucko, how do you say that? Do you know that? Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Hello to Grant Rollison watching from Western Australia. And Rollo will be over here during the week. An avid watcher and a great competitor. So hello to you, Rollo, with 2 minutes to go. He's got a new coffee place in Western Australia that he has his morning coffee. We'll talk about that a bit later. But it's a very appropriate coffee shop that Rollo goes to. As the fleet now bunched a bit down towards the leeward end this time, Andrew.
They're only toying with you, Peter, I think, the fleet at this time.
1 minute 40. They've got a bit of sailing to do to get back here to the weather end. Yandu's down there. He's hardly got his sails full.
Yeah, no.
But the few of them are all down there.
It's a bit untidy. A little bit of breeze at the committee.
And Andu is way down there as well. The team winning are down there. So do they know something that we don't, perhaps? Is there breeze out to the left that maybe they're looking for?
No, there's a little bit now. The strongest looks like it's in the middle of the river. It's lifted off on the edges.
Okay, just over a minute to go.
In the middle.
The fleet
the right edge
hanging back.
Pretty ordinary down this end of the track now.
And big Noakes, Big Pete's right down at the pin as well. Andu's down there.
Yeah,
Smeg's down there.
Paying a fair bit of respect to the U-float. So.
Rag and Famish in the middle of the line, along with Shaw and partners. Where's Finport? He's here up at the windward end. There is just coming into the shot now. That's Noakes
Yeah, they're
him.
very well behaved this start.
And Fisher Paykel's the most advanced boat here at the windward end. 30 seconds to go.
And a bit messy down the end there. Pete.
It is very messy.
Bobbing up and down. But
Smeg's buried down there. Andu's trying to extract himself down there. He's right down at the pin. He's going to get the pin, Andu. There he goes.
Andu's
50's going to be early,
He's going to be early.
Yeah, he's going to bail out of that.
Got to jump out of that.
Yeah, he's got to do it.
But he's got room to jibe by the look of it.
Yeah, but not much breeze. He's going to be a bit of dirty air. 4. Oh, Noakes, Big Pete.
Here we go.
No, they're going to be clean. Clean start. And Finport jumped away nicely at the committee boat with Fisher Paykel. Look at Keegan York in the Finport. Terrific start.
Yeah.
Really good in the right.
The breeze in the middle. Andu's got out on port.
Yeah, well, this will be interesting. Andu and Yandu both across on port.
But Finport at full pressure from the windward end with Fisher and Paykel, so they will lead. Fisher and Paykel probably
look,
lead.
Finport just taking a bit of a dive there. Andu and Yandu look strong. They're going to cross,
Wow.
I think.
Fisher
it's going to be tight here.
Fisher and Paykel. I don't know, mate.
Okay, it's Finport's tack to leeward of Andu and Yandu.
But Fisher and Paykel had more pressure, and he's lifted up around them.
Fisher Paykel leads. Jordan Gertis.
How
Well
about
done. Narrow lead. Wow, the few boats got dead and buried down at the pin. The Rag and Famish has got hammered down there. Smeg trying to extract himself. Noakes Big Pete is okay. But it's boats now, majority on port. It's probably Yandu that leads.
But breeze now sort of even over the track. Everybody about 2.5 to 3 strings. Not too bad.
And then right up to windward is Big Pete, percolating quite nicely. Lazarus is up there as well. There's Birkenhead Point. Kirk Mitchell a little bit back.
That's Noakes Youth.
Noakes Youth, Peter.
This one you... Big Pete's back.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the other Noakes. Okay, sorry, you're right.
Young blokes.
Noakes Youth. Well done. It is Noakes Youth. They put in a tremendous performance a couple of weeks ago in that strong southerly. Smeg's extracted himself out of the mess and now got a clear lane up into windward. So that's Noakes Youth. Tom Cunnage, Finn Sprout and Aidan Mansley. They're looking very good. They're high on the left. There's the Rag trying to get out to the left.
So I think Smeg might come out in front here, Pete, just from being in the middle.
And Lazarus, Marcus Ashley
Close.
Jones looks good too in the middle.
Yeah, with that big washing of his.
Yeah, that's Lazarus, just the next boat down from Noakes Youth. Well, the game is on here.
Yeah.
Very tricky first beat.
And we're alongside the Rag and Famish on the camera, Cat. Wow. And they're in about 10th.
I think they're just looking for a lane, Bucko.
Yeah, C-Tech, Josh Sloman behind them from Brisbane. Here's Rag and Famish. They're just looking for some pressure coming around Bradley's head. They're punching out to the left.
And good pressure coming to them, Pete, but they need to get on the other tack.
They do, don't they? They've got 2.5 strings here, but
There they go.
that's the bulk of the fleet.
Yeah. That was a bit of get out of jail sailing there, I think.
We can't see them. They're off screen at the moment, the Rag and Famish, but they're the most left-handed boat, looking for this maybe little bit of left-hand pressure. Royal Oak coming across on starboard will cross them. They're still deep, Rag and Famish. That's the news.
Yep.
Pressure looks as though it's coming out of the right a bit now.
Oh, I think it's okay in the middle in general, Pete, now. It's roughly 4 pints just across them, but big.
Okay, there's Andu.
On the right edge.
Now there's Andu with Yandu above him. Still going on port tack.
With good wind against the headland over there.
There is.
It's a header, but it's good pressure.
And that's going across. There's C-Tech, there's Rag and Famish taking a few sterns. He's now trying to get to the right.
Yeah.
Just looking for pressure, I
Japan
think.
in front of them.
Yeah, Team Japan. Yeah, boy, the rag are really deep. But anyway, this is a long race, long course in tricky conditions.
Yeah.
The lead can change very quickly here. So the majority going right. The leading boat going left is Noakes Big Pete. He's right in, aiming at Bradley's head, really, looking for the left-hander in a bit of northeasterly pressure.
And Sean last night, Pete, named Ocean Racer of the Year
Yes.
from the CYCA.
Yeah, terrific performance that, and very well deserved. And I believe he was very chuffed. I spoke to him this morning in the park, and he's had a stellar year in the yachts.
Money Penny.
Money Penny, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big effort, isn't it?
So there he is, trying to go back, looking for the left-hander,
There isn't one.
which there isn't one at the moment. And it looks like off-screen, Yandu close to leading.
On the right edge.
On the right edge, he's going to cross Noakes Youth. So John Winning leads. And tucked in with him is Andu and Balmain Slake. Now, where's Finport? We haven't seen him. Jimmy, have we got a...
Finport's sort of mid-pack here, heading back out on starboard.
Okay, well, the other boat that's in there in that melee is Lazarus, Marcus Ashley Jones. He's well positioned. Just light again, Andrew. What do we got? 6 knots, 7 knots at best.
Yeah, we're down below 3 strings condition now. German's going a right 2 here in the middle, I think, Pete.
Okay, that's the German boat, Black Knight. Just
behind, or just in front of.
Noakes has taken his stern.
Yep.
Oh, not good going back for Noakes now. He's had to dip the stern of Black Knight, but even so, he's on a horror going back.
But the breeze in general has lifted off across the whole course now. Quite light air.
Yes. There's little spikes in this breeze. You can see boats doing twice the speed of others at times. Just one puff does the job for them.
Yeah.
So I think at the moment, probably is the Black Knight. And in the distance, that group that went to the right at Point Piper, led by Yandu. But Balmain Slake there, Henry Larkin, looks okay. That does, as does Lazarus and Noakes Youth. Just behind them is Yandu. Andu, you can't see him. He's off to the right a little, gone right into the shore.
Well, Pete, it looks like there is pressure on the Point Piper shore.
Yeah, a little bit of compression there.
We'll make a gutsy prediction and say the right-hand guys are going to lead at the top here.
And I would say Balmain Slake would be close to leading.
Yeah, Lazarus, Balmain Slate and Yandu, probably.
Yeah, and Lazarus really got the motor going here. Marcus Ashley Jones.
He sort of put
Harrison.
all his eggs in one basket, like when I was speaking to Marcus a while back when he ordered the new sails from the Dark Horse. He wanted to go as big as he could possibly get.
Big is beautiful.
Well, that's what the rig's made for today, isn't it? You know.
As the great Donny Barnett used to say, big sails win big races.
Yeah, but he was a big bloke.
Big Donny, one of the great characters of 18-foot skiff sailing. But anyway, we're back to the present, Balmain Slate. They've got to weave their way through this laser fleet that there'll be about 40 or 50 lasers out here, and there's a yacht on 3 coming back. And they're going up to the mark here at Shark Island. Gee, you can see just how light it is. There's Yandu's just tacked. Oh, Woody's sitting in. It's very light. Two just on crew just on the wire. Now, where's the boat? They've gone right into Point Piper there. It's the Royal Oak, I think, is right in there.
Burrowang.
Is it Burrowang in there, is it?
All the way in there.
Okay, Simon Nern. Yes, it is. Cameron McDonald and Dan Phillips. Very handy team there. Andu's gone back. Smeg's starting to wriggle their way through, but poor old Yandu's going back on no pressure, and Dan just starting to get the lift now.
Yeah,
and there's, you can just see the little lasers and Andu trying to thread it their way through. Okay, there's Balmain Slake and Yandu, but look at Andu. He's just got a puff there and come round the bow. But that is the Burrowang. Is that
Yes.
Burrowang leads Andu. Be close to leading.
It looked like the best pressure was against the clubhouse over there, Pete. So that's all it takes.
So
a couple of linked together puffs.
the Smeg's in there. Now looking back at some of the favourites, Rag and Famish is way back. Way back. Where's Noakes Big Pete? Another of the favourite team.
He's riding off Point Piper
okay,
as
he's
well,
got his way through a little. And the Smeg, I can't see Smeg. He was over there somewhere.
Yeah, Smeg's just tapped
There's
out. I've
Smeg.
started
Okay,
off
there he
Edwards.
is. Yep. So they're up amongst it.
Smeg's, top 3, top 4 here.
Okay, well there's Yandu just going behind a couple. That's Shark Island. They've still got a way to go up to this weather mark. It's well past Shark Island. They're just going between Shark Island and Point Piper, looking for a bit of compression, but there's not much at the moment.
And I don't think it gets any easier, Pete.
No, it looks worse between now and the weather mark.
Yeah.
It is going to be a long race here, Andrew, isn't it?
Well,
Gee, look how light it is. Andrew's looking for pressure.
so I think Finport's now on the right side.
Yes,
here.
I think Finport could make some inroads here.
Yeah.
He's off camera at the moment. You can see the pressure at Shark Island.
A little bit more pressure on the left here.
Yes. You can see Andrew's anchored. Burrowang's still rolling along nicely. Simon Nern.
And for the viewers, that when the wind speed gets below 6 and the boat stops planing, the apparent wind generation all disappears, and so you go from going reasonably quite fast to not fast at all.
Okay, they got a bit. I'll set you up. You trained that bloke up forward there, Andrew. What's he doing? Figurehead.
It's called the kicker under the boat, I think.
Something like that. Anyway,
is the game.
Here's the Australian champion, Finport, looking very strong at the moment. He's got to the left, got this little puff.
And he needs to come back though, Pete.
He does, but he's rolling nicely. At the moment, he probably leads. He probably leads.
Yeah. He needs to have the courage to keep banging it.
Gus Williams and Phil Marshall with Keegan York. Boy, is this tricky.
There's a question online of is there a time limit?
Yeah, there is. It's long. I'll look up the sailing instructions and give you the exact...
Finport coming back.
Exact. They were listening, Peter.
Yeah, well...
Bloody hell.
So they're still about 300 metres from this weather mark. You can see Finport, he likes what he's seeing here. He's really got good pressure.
So 3 hours for all boats and 1 hour for the last finish, extra hour for the last finisher. Time limit summary.
Okay, well, that's a nice shot of Finport, looking very strong here on the left, going in towards the wharf at Shark Island. Oh, he's just hoping there's some pressure coming around the corner here.
Yeah, no, there's pressure up at the totem pole. He needs to get on the other board, though.
Yeah, now he goes. Oh, boy, it's light.
No, there's a good bit of wind coming, Pete. Look at the historic behind him up there.
Just capsizing.
The Britannia. Back in the background there's...
Well, interestingly, wriggling his way through with the Shore and Partners. Boats that went to the right have almost stopped. Yandu stopped. Balmain Slake stopped. Burrowang stopped. But the boats that have hitched out to the left, and Rag and Famish has got himself back into it, worked the middle or left. He's probably in single figures when he was deep and buried before. But it's Finport that leads.
Finport's going to lead by a long way here,
He
Pete.
is.
He's got pressure, by the look of it, all the way nearly to the mark.
Noakes Youth still in the mix.
Noakes Youth going well. Shore and Partners joined the dots together nicely.
18-footer, bar and grill. There's Birkenhead back. And there's the Big Foot. They're back as well, probably in the teens. But now the pressure coming out of the right. Boats are high on the right coming off the point. Smeg is one. He's done very well. He's got himself up to about third or fourth. But anyway, here's the lead. There's Smeg and Balmain Slake. They are probably third or fourth, maybe fourth and fifth.
Short Partners close to the lead, sorry viewers.
Yeah, Shaw and Partners, Dave O'Connor, Trent Barnabas and Tom Quigley. And the other boat that's way back is Big Pete. They're still off Point Piper. But
Going of snakes and ladders.
yeah, don't throw away your cards yet, that's for sure.
Fallen down a few snakes.
Don't throw away any of your cards yet. There's a lot to play out in this game. And we're just at the weather mark where there's a little bit of more pressure, probably 7 knots at best.
Yep.
But it will be Finport that leads in a nice left-hander coming in here.
Big changes in direction now too up under the shoreline here. This is nearly northeast.
Breeze a lot cooler here.
East northeast.
Okay, he's got the pedal down, Keegan. York in the Finport.
And you know, Balmain Slate's going to be third, I think, Pete, or
Okay.
maybe Yandu.
Okay,
Perhaps.
Finport around. He will lead the first heat of the 2023 JJs, the first mark.
Wow.
Finport leads.
Challenge is down.
And this is going to be a tricky run.
Balmain's going to be second or third behind Shaw and Partners.
I think
Shaw and Partners are heading here.
I think Yandu is right in the mix. He's coming through on starboard. Shaw and
get there.
Partners, Dave O'Connor will get round in second.
Sneaked around. all
Okay.
good.
Yandu will be third. All these boats very much in striking distance. Yandu third, Balmain Slake fourth.
Wow.
Just sneaking around now, a boat length behind Yandu. Next will be Smeg, Michael Coxon. And then out on his hip, off screen at the moment, will be Noakes Youth
And Andu.
and Andu. And then coming in on starboard will be the Burrawang and Lazarus. Gee, there's a lot of changing positions.
And so advantage to the guys on the right, I think now, Pete. More pressure on the right edge. Guys on starboard.
So Young Henry's just sneaks inside Noakes Youth. They've done a very good job. And then Andu around the outside of Lazarus, just tacking on the mark.
Lazarus enough wind to get rolling pretty promptly, though.
Yep, there's enough
Yeah.
there.
Interesting now to see if Andu can bail themselves out of that place. They've been
Next-
pretty good, though.
Yes, they have been. But it's a very tricky race here today. We keep saying it, but there's not much breeze. It's from all over the place. As the next boat around will be Fisher Paykel, Jordan Gertis, then the Germans in Black Knight. And the two of the favourites dead and buried at the moment, Big Pete and Rag and Famish. Fisher Paykel round.
Well, it can be tough when it's below two strings weather, as we've noted. And Rag and Famish didn't get off the line, and so spent the beat, you know, searching for an answer that probably wasn't there.
Playing catch up very hard.
But equally, the straw's in front of him, and he can look downwind and go,
Yep.
"Ooh, that's not the right place to go." And probably you'd expect him to be able to halve the deficit in one run if he does it.
Yeah, you play
well.
your run right, you can
Yep.
really make some big inroads. This is the Black Knight, our German friends go round, followed by the 18-footer restaurant. Next will be the Kitchen Maker. And still coming upwind is Rag and Famish. Every time you look at him, he looks to be on a knock.
It's not his best first beat of the year, is it?
No, he's done better
Far
than
from
that.
it for those boys.
Yeah. Kitchen Maker round now.
They're pretty resilient. They'll plug away.
And the next two around will be, I think it's the Marine Outlet, and then Noakes Big Pete.
Yep. Well, the ocean race of the year, thinking, this isn't ocean racing, Pete.
No. And then after them will be the Rag just tacking. Then the
So-
Royal Oak Four Pines, and then Big Foot.
The way it's looking now, Pete, they need to jibe set at the top.
That's the call from Andrew. Yeah, that looks strong to do that.
Yep. And nobody's done it yet, so Rag and Famish, they're not afraid to take it on.
Okay, well, most boats on starboard jibe. And it was Finport that led clearly at the first mark.
He's extended.
He
Well,
looks to me, as we look downwind, doesn't he, Jimmy? Looks to open up nicely.
Yeah, he's escaped, he's gone.
Yeah.
Hard to catch him now, I would say.
The tail end Charlie's just getting up to the weather mark. Noakes blue, Sea-Tech, Bigfoot, and the Lazarus Youth. They're the last four. And
Yep, plenty
Bigfoot.
Plenty of jibe set going on.
All right, our friends, other friends from Germany, the Hoffel House. Where's our Japanese friends? Jimmy, you've seen them?
Just here off.
Oh, okay. A solid last. But anyway, keep going, boys. A lot can happen.
They're getting good value for their entry fee. A lot of racing.
So the run now to Clark Island, it's normally a jibe there and then a run back to Robertson Point, but there's a lot of sailing left in this race.
The Fisher and Michael still hanging in there in touch with the leading group.
There's Lazarus and Noakes Youth. Just ahead of them off camera is Yandu. That's the race leader, Finport. Has jibed in the mouth of Double Bay, trying to lay down to the next mark. That's Yandu in fourth position at the moment. Shore and Partners third. Smeg second, and Finport the leader. Yandu jibing. Trying to get on the gas of Shore and Partners.
The Finport really in another postcode relative to the chasing pack.
It's that sort of day you could be a long way ahead and get run down easily. Both upwind and downwind. There's Shore and Partners.
Breeze just built a little overall, I think.
Probably a solid 7.
Yeah, 8 maybe.
Yep.
So tight reach across the bottom here. The Finport will be enjoying it. The early shoot drop and 2 sail into the mark. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Just approaching the next mark. He's just got to run a bit deep to get. Oh, he's got to jibe. Now he'll have to jibe. Yes, he's got to jibe to get round the mark. He couldn't get down to it, so he'll run into Clark as we watch Yandu. Not much pressure, as you can see. It's very light.
Still enough wind that his VMG mode's two guys fully extended on the trapeze. So
Okay, just to do a little jibe there to shorten down to the mark. He's jibed. He's got 2.5 strings.
he'll be 3 strings, I think, Pete. We can't actually see the mark here, but I think it's high-ish, and the breeze of fairway in the left, looking upwind.
In the left, okay. So he's around and gone. I mean, at the moment, he's got a good 2-minute lead. 2-minute lead, and next will be coming down in a bit of pressure, Smeg.
So from where we are, Bucko, I've just had a look through the binoculars. That the mark is, see where the Captain Cook cruise line is?
Yeah.
There on the bow of it now.
Oh, okay, cool.
So they'll make that pretty comfortably.
Yeah, no, they've got a jibe coming for them. That's okay. Easy work, though.
And
So here we go, Finport rocking, Smeg rocking.
Here's the battle for second, third, and fourth. Smeg will be second. So if you're watching Baz Atkins, you'll be liking what you're seeing here. Your boys have done pretty well to extract themselves out of a deep position up the beat to be rounding the next mark in second place. And behind them, Shore and Partners struggling to get down here.
Yeah, no, the breeze is still pretty choppy.
And Yandu's run out of gas.
Well, the rich have gotten richer here, Pete, haven't they?
Just one puff's all you need.
Yeah.
Look at Shore and Partners, his bow right up. Smeg getting the bow down.
And Smeg sneaking down around the
Yes,
mark.
he's going to run a little deep, but once he's round, he can
He's got
arc up a bit.
Got actually quite good wind there. If he heats it back up, he'll be good.
One crew sitting to leeward.
Yeah, that's not a real 8-foot of sailing. But
James Doran to leeward there on the sheet for this series. And wow, Smeg have opened up on Shore and Partners as well.
Wow, there is a game of snakes and ladders, isn't there? My goodness. So, looking downwind, so if we look through Smeg, coming at the leeward edge, we can see in the distance Finport laying down to the bottom mark without jibing. 3 strings, Pete, look.
Wow, they've really done a good job. Or the wind's done a good job for them.
The wind's helped them a bit, I can say that. Yeah, and that picture tells us the Rag have burgled their way out of fullback, and Andrew's done the reverse, burgled their way back to fullback. Bit disappointing for them.
Well, it's that sort of day, isn't it? Anything can happen.
I told you that before the start, mate. You have to be
I told you. You're
top of your game.
You're not
mate.
listening to me. You're not listening as usual.
As usual.
Anyway, Shaw and Partners, they're just struggling to get round in third as Michael Coxon looking for breeze. Got Tom Anderson extended on the wire. Doro sitting in.
Yep.
And we've got Smeg, his bow up. There's Yandu, just had to jibe to get round this mark. He's got one more jibe to come back and try and get down towards Robinson Point, Kirribilli.
But he's into the northeasterly flow now and he's fine, Pete. Look at that. Sorry, viewers, not on screen. We'll
okay, Yandu jibing in very light air. Oh, here's a real go here with these yachts. Skiff's coming round. There's Yandu's round 4th.
Have a look at the peloton, guys.
Yeah,
wow.
They've just got a puff to get them down. There's going to be some action here. Yandu round, right on their hammer is Balmain Slake. But look at this here. They've all brought breeze down to them. Yandu's the most windward boat. What's he going to do?
Lazarus has got to do a jibe, I think.
They've all got it. Andrew's got a jibe. Lazarus jives. Burrowang's got round the outside of them all with the blue spinnaker.
Yeah, good effort from them.
Good job. Lazarus and Andu here. Coming in with is the Rag and Famish with the purple shoot. Oh, there's some carnage going to be here. Big Pete's in the mix. 18-footer barn restaurant.
There's a big train.
Oh, Fisher Paykel. Oh, Big Pete gets in there. Fisher Paykel, where's he going?
And the Rag and Famish has come out looking
they got the gust of the day. Rag and Famish did a great job to get through there. Poor old Fisher Paykel got chicken winged up. Dear oh dear, what was all that about? One puff just concentrated the fleet.
So there was no carbon breaking though, it was all right?
Well, there's a lot of yelling.
Yeah.
But I think they all extracted themselves pretty well.
And
but there's still a lot of yelling.
Not on screen, Finport is around the bottom mark and working their way back up.
God, that was incredible.
Well, look how that one puff really just concertinaed the fleet.
Yeah.
And this is the Yandu, who was a clear 4th now, has got this chasing group of about 11 boats right on him. Look at that. That is so close. So anyone can get out of this pack and get up into 3rd or 4th. But meanwhile, as Jimmy said, Keegan York in the Finport, he is gone. So
well, for the boys in the boat, Angus and Phil Marshall, good work, boys. And they were confident. I did talk to them, and they said, "No, we're as good as we can hope to be as well." And that's it's not a team with massive amounts of support.
Now the breeze has gone left here. They're all struggling to get down to the mark.
Struggling to get up to it, Pete.
Well, up to it, yes.
Early drop.
Early drop, yeah. They're all 3 stringing now. Look at that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's more than a dozen boats all hammering downwind.
So the 2 favourites vying for 7th.
What a great shot that is. Look, all fully extended here, the cruise, as this breeze has just spiked up a little and make this run quite tricky.
Yep. Breeze up to about 9 knots and as far rotated to the left as we've seen and as far as it's likely to go, I think.
Well, I say that Smeg is just about to go round in second spot, but this is the battle for third. Yandu is hanging on to fourth, just ahead of him is Shaw and Partners in third. And then it follows Balmain Slate, Burrawang, Andu, Rag and Famish. That's him with the purple shoe. Got himself right back into the game. Lazarus just behind him, as is Big Pete.
We won't get in trouble for putting the wash on Finport today, Jimmy.
I don't listen to him anyway, mate.
That was very exciting at that jibe mark. Won't see much better action than that, even on a breezy day. It just got one puff that really brought everyone together, but we're concentrating now on Shaw and Partners in third position. Speggy's on his way back upwind, you'll see him in a moment. On port tack as Shaw and Partners dropping their chute. There's Speg now going across. He's been around about 40 seconds or so. Shaw and Partners, got to get the job done here. Not much breeze down here at this leeward mark. So what's the
Bit of a one-legger back Pete.
the breeze on the left.
Breeze a little stable and sort of east-northeast, I guess, would be the way we describe it.
You might have seen Shaw and Partners hit the mark. They're allowed to do that in 18-foot racing, as long as they don't drag it. So don't get excited and you think they might be have to do a penalty turn. It's quite allowed in 18-footers. There's Yandu is the next around, and then Balmain Slake.
And the breeze very light near the mark here, so the guys need to approach from the low edge here,
Yes, they've got themselves a bit high, and okay, you can see how light it is where Yandu is. He'll round in fourth spot.
Yeah, not much wind at all, and
no.
And Andu and Burrawang coming in above the mark, and so now they've made life very awkward for them.
Balmain Slake, he's got no breeze here at this leeward mark.
Yeah, but a good puff coming.
Yeah, there is now. Burrawang will get down.
He'll get rolling, and with good trim, they've got round the corner all right, and the puff's on them. So
okay, and Andu will get down, I think, with the light spinnaker, just holding it to the last minute.
And Rag and Famish overlapped outside.
So Burrawang next around, Simon Nern.
And the Rag and Famish got some opportunity here.
Yes, they have. Now,
what's going on here?
They're close enough to Andu.
Calm heads though, all good boys.
And Big Pete is next around, so they also have got themselves back in the game somewhat, and then Lazarus will be next.
Yeah, now the Rag got a tough job to jump out of there.
So the breeze in the left, Rag and Famish first attack.
Chewing some dirt, had to get out.
Yep. Fisher Pike around. Green Spinnaker belongs to the Royal Oak.
So, Pete, I think in some ways there's a race back out to the flow in the middle here.
So they've got another long beat up to Shark Island, or past Shark Island, really.
Wow, not windy though, is it?
No, it's not. Birkenhead Point. Kirk Mitchell goes round.
A little bit better pressure on the left edge. Rag and Family just put the hammer down.
Noakes Youth, well back after the blinder of a start.
Yeah, they really got lost somewhere.
Well,
it's a big foot. Queenslander goes round.
I don't know if you've noticed, Peter, but some quite good yachtsmen have got lost on the track today. So.
Big night from Germany round, inside Marine Outlet. Next would be Noakes Youth, and then down to lure to them, the 80-footer bar and restaurant. So,
definitely more wind in the middle of the river.
So most of the boats have gone out 50 to 100 metres and tack, but Andu's gone the furthest left, almost into Robertson Point. Harry Price, meanwhile, on the Rag and Famish, gone out into midstream. There's Andu, top of screen.
Yep.
Just ahead of him is Lazarus, Marcus Ashley Jones, and then Big Pete. So three of the highly fancied boats all back a fair way. Meanwhile, Keegan York in the Finport.
I think we
Very
can
impressive lead.
put a tick next to that one, Pete.
Well, still a long way to go, Andrew. You know that.
Yeah, but the rest of the course is actually quite straightforward
It is,
now, isn't it?
it is.
It's a nearly a fetch on port, and then it's a starboard jibe biased run back down here. So not too many catching or passing lanes, I don't think.
No, the breeze still about 7 or 8 knots at best. Andu up in the left.
We need to get out of here first.
There's Noakes, or Big Pete, struggling to hold his lane there. He's getting a bit of gas. Oh, Noakes is getting all sorts of trouble there. Big Pete.
Andu nearly capsizing up on the high edge here.
Big Pete's really eating some dust there. Look, he's just going backwards at a rate of knots. There's Lazarus high. There's Yandu in 4th spot. The pack chasing hard. There's Lazarus up on the left, got good pressure. And furthest to the left is Andu, off screen at the moment. He's about 60 to 70 metres to windward of Lazarus. We'll see him in a moment. There he is. Herman winning. Semi Jarve and Sam Newton.
So they tacked into the pressure over here on the left edge of the white line. They've come out, they've gained probably 3 or 4 places there. They're now into a long progressive header, but I think they'll be far enough advanced.
But they've got pressure. There's 3 strings here.
Yep.
They're looking to get into 3rd spot.
Wow.
4th rather, 4th. We've got Shore Partners 3rd, Spec 2nd.
Yandu's going to be in front of them.
Now they're taking the header. Yep. You can see Yandu ahead.
They're going to be 5th, I think, at the top.
And the interesting one will be Rag and Famish, who tacked early and have gone out, and they're bow down in well to leeward, hoping for a little right-hander to get back on. There's the Rag. There he is, way in the distance.
Yeah.
Still not a solid breeze. A lot of the boats are struggling for pressure in the middle.
Yeah. Andu looks pretty good here, though, Pete. He's got more wind coming around Bradley's head in a minute. 3 strings, he's on top of it.
Royal Oak 4 Pine have done a good job.
Oh, as I said that.
Yeah, it's up and down here.
Yeah.
1 minute you're up, next minute you're down.
Breeze hard in the right up the top.
Yeah, there's Big Pete extracted himself from the leeward of Fish and Pike and Lazarus, and now got a little bit of clean air. Yeah, with a little few spiky bits, probably 7 knots at best. More like 5 or 6 on average.
So funny here, where we are not too far away from Andu, it looks quite windy, but Andu only just got 3 strings now. Lazarus down to leeward with 3. Andu here now, travelling alongside them. Around the back of the big, fast catamaran ferry.
And looking upwind, Andrew, there's more breeze coming around Bradley's. Sky clearing a bit.
I think the direction a little more stable than it was, and the pressure just a little more even. Just makes it easier for the guys who are leading.
It does, doesn't it, really? And way in the distance is Finport, still leading by a long, long way from Smeg, and then Shore and Partners. Yandu is 4th. And the breeze, heading for the boats that went right, which is going to be a good one to get back on.
Yeah, no, we'll get it coming down. So yeah, Pete, I mean, the average wind strength probably is not 7 knots.
No.
It's just not quite full pressure most of the time.
Gee, there's some ugly spots in this course already. Well, still, aren't there?
Yep, absolutely.
Gee. See Rag trying to...
So Rag, who rounded the bottom with Andu, given back 150 metres. The left edge is paid in the first part of the beat.
There's Shaw and Partners in bottom, and then Yandu. And then above him is the Balmain Slake. It's going towards Clark Island. But there's looks to be breeze in the left, but it still hasn't really materialised, although it has started to materialise a bit on Andu.
Yeah, so, I mean, on average, it's been slightly better against the bits of high land, and in a general sense, though, better in the middle of the river. So it's a bit tricky. Find a point, bounce off it, then go back to the middle until you can get up to the next point. Might be a theory.
Okay, well, the cross here will be Yandu and Andu, and Yandu is clear ahead.
Yeah,
so
and now Balmain Slate and Andu.
Yeah, Balmain Slate getting a nice right-hander off Clark Island. There's Smeg, still in second. Just see there's not much breeze on the harbour for this first heat of the JJs of 2023. Racing for the George Calligrus Memorial Trophy. The race day sponsor is Birkenhead Point Marina. And the overall sponsor of the series is the Winning Group. So it's the winning team of John Senior and John Junior, 4th and 5th respectively. So son chasing father here, and back on Smeg here. They're light too. They're in the middle of the track.
And good pressure up at Shark though, Pete.
There is. There's see a few yachts well heeled.
There.
They've got to get the breeze. They've got to get to them, or they've got to get to the breeze.
So I can see what Rag's doing now, Pete. They're going to go to Bradley's. They're going to have a little roll
of the dice, are they?
A little roll of the dice, yep.
Okay, now Andu standing out towards the Bradley's head. Fairway boy. Looking for something to take them back. They're moving quite quickly here, Andu. They've got excellent speed. That's Shaw and Partners in third, very much within catching distance.
Yeah, but Shaw and Partners has looked pretty good all day.
Andu looking for one to go back on. And there they go. And they're a lot closer to Yandu. As you'll see, there's Shaw and Partners. And here's the shot we've got now of the Andu and the Yandu. Yandu will be on screen. Oh, Yandu's tacked short. Okay, so that probably means that Andu is closed right up in 4th spot.
So the Rag and Famish got precluded from using the left edge by the outgoing ferry from Sydney. Had to come back.
But there's some good pressure where Shaw and Partners is now.
Yeah, and so that was the puff we're looking at before.
And further up the track, above Shaw and Partners, is Smeg in good left-hand pressure.
And meantime, for the viewers, the fin port's up near the windward mark. So that lead is probably 3 minutes. Shaw and Partners are travelling with Vibe Drone here, bolted in. A little bit of crew movement, not much sheet in and out, just a little bit. Riding some waves upwind.
It's the crew of Dave O'Connor, Trent Barnabas and Tom Quigley. Very strong crew. That's a great shot. Look at that. We're right in the cockpit with these boys. Just see the work required in these light airs, in and out.
There's a fair bit of experience in the back half of the boat there.
I've found our Japanese friends. There they are.
Oh, there they are. Here they come.
Just having a little swim in Sydney Harbour in the nice 23.3 degrees water.
23.4.
There they go. No spinnaker yet, boys. Whoops.
No, they had
whoops.
They had a bit of a lie
Stick
down.
with it. Stick with it.
They had a bit of a lie down in the lee of Shark.
1, 2, 3, gone. Anyway, still got a long way to go. And
Not too far to double boat, Pete.
no, as we just speaking, Finport is approaching the windward mark up in Rose Bay to southeast of Shark Island. Smeg in second spot. This is going to be a big lead here, Andrew. Finport's around.
Yeah.
So if you got your Rolex running, we'll give you a time, but gee, this is going to be three plus minutes here or more.
I'd say 4 and a bit, Pete.
Yeah, I think you're right. For once.
For once.
Yeah, there's Finport. Another long run, straight back down to the leeward mark this time.
So, Jimmy, you're close to Gus and Phil in particular.
Yeah, all three of them really, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, club mates of yours from the Manly 16s, how do you think they'll react to this if they get the chocolates at the end of the day?
Mate, Gussie's very, very level-headed.
Yep.
Like, he's got maturity beyond his age, that's for sure. And he's, he's this sort of weather, he's really good at keeping his head out of the boat and keeping the thing rolling. So, you know, it's, they'll be fine. They're not going to go out and send it like they've won the JJs.
No.
It's just a heat, and they'll keep rolling. They're very good campaigners.
They're both 24, have I got that right?
Oh, yeah, they're young.
They're young, yeah. That's a good age to be 18-footer racing, I'd say.
Yeah, well, they're the Australian champions, and they're doing it in great style today.
Yeah.
How long have they been around, Andrew?
Coming to 130, Pete. And, you know...
Smeg's nowhere near the mark.
No, not even.
She's just off the eastern end of Point Piper.
Not even in the postcode.
No.
So 130 at 3. It's going to be 4.5 to 5.
That's the closest they've been all day.
Yeah. 4.5 to 5.
So you've just got to keep your cool here, you'd think.
They've got an easy job, Pete, really. They're confident about their boat speed with this rig in, I can tell you. And having burgled with great style up the end of the first beat, and then the rich got richer, and so it's just a cruise home, really, isn't it?
Yes, he wasn't anything great off the starting line, but
no, not at all.
Just
high-grade burglary, mate, on the left-hand side up the top.
Joined the dots. That's had you do today, and the dots are the wind pressure.
Yep.
And the pressure gives you the lift. But we're on Smeg.
And he's actually got a nice bit of wind to get to the mark in here, Pete.
Yeah, they've got clear air up in Rose Bay here. There's very little interference from pleasure boats.
A little more, but further in the right, which is a bit surprising. Oh, well.
He's almost on a lay for the mark. Starboard rounding.
Yeah.
There's Point Piper, eastern end. There's son chasing father.
But he's unexpectedly high right. Anyway.
This will close the distance up a little.
Yeah. He's above it. He overstood on the right-hander. Oh, well. Looking back at Yandu and Andu.
They will be well overcooked if they get that right-hander, you'd think.
Yep.
But there's Shaw and Partners going out, still on port. So Yandu and Andu have closed up on Shaw and Partners a little, and right in the distance, top of screen, that is the Smeg, about to go round the weather mark. There it is. So they got a nice little jump on Shaw and Partners. So what's the delta, Andrew? Coming up to 3.5, is it? 4 minutes?
3:40 by the time they get around the corner.
So he just got a nice little right-hander to extract himself out there, yep. Smeg. So there's Smeg around, okay.
And, I mean, if you're Smeg, you're just going, let's just consolidate second place, really.
Yeah.
You're not going to catch the leader, just going to sail honestly and carefully downhill here. And
exactly, that's all you've got to do. And
yep.
A second place in any heat is a really good performance.
Strange things do happen psychologically, you know. And 9 races is a lot of sailing, Peter, to be honest, you know.
It's just going past Shaw and Partners and still holding down third.
It wasn't that long ago that Giltinan was decided over 5 races with 1 discard.
Yes, yeah. So they have get to 6 races and then you can discard your worst performance. But up until then, all races count.
about a minute back to shore.
Okay, well, there's Shaw just tacking. In the distance, the beautiful Archina, competitor in the very first Hobart race. But gone off screen now. But Shaw and Partners round. There's Yandu, still holding down fourth.
Great set on the Shore and Partners.
Very good.
The 3 boat length set, the classic benchmark.
Well, who's in the middle?
Oh, there's some bloke that knows, done it a bit before. You know, Treno, yeah.
So they're running away
to pull it up pretty quick then.
Running away into the eastern end of Point Piper, all the fleet, before they jibe. And Yandu will be next around in fourth. Andu fifth.
And he's fended off Andu pretty
Yes,
well at the peak there, hasn't he? Oh, Fang and Josh, no prisoners approach from those boys. Woody's sitting in.
Sitting in, very comfortable.
What's going on, Woody? There's wind here, mate.
No, he's around.
Got the hat on again. All right. Pretty good set also.
Yeah. And Andu in fifth spot.
And you can't jibe with the wind where it is now, so you
No.
have to go across to Point Piper.
So they were Andu's fifth, and then coming into sixth will either be Balmain Slake or Rag and Famish.
I think the Rags.
The Rags a bit closer, aren't they?
The Rags a bit closer, going to get 6.
So that's a good extraction from a deep position for the Rag.
Oh, and just one place behind their good friends on the Andu.
Yeah, but where they were at this mark the first time, they were very deep. There's the Balmain. Whoa, not much breeze there, boys.
Well,
it's got lighter here at this mark, Andrew. Looking into Rose Bay, there's some big voids in this breeze.
it's got lighter and lifted the guys on Port Jibe, so...
There's the Rag, got a bloke forward hand sitting in.
No, he's off again now.
Yeah, they're around next. Balmain Slate coming back on a horror. And then so after the Rag will be Lazarus, then the Balmain Slate. Now, I don't know where Big Pete got out of all that. Oh, he's back in about 10th or 12th position. So not a good beat for Big Pete by any means.
The Rag just a barrel-away set. And Lazarus next. And Big Pete had a bit of a fall from grace as well. Oh,
Yeah.
Shawnee.
Okay, you see the lack of pressure there for Lazarus. He's around. Next will be Balmain Slake, then Marine Outlet. Then Young Henry's.
Now the Rag
Big
got
Pete.
an opportunity here, Pete. Looking at that, they're in a big Port Jibe header. Wow. Huh. The Snakes and Ladders continues.
Well, remembering Finport, a clear leader, as they run back down towards Kirribilli.
Be honest, Pete, Finport in the other postcode, 2088.
Smeg second, Shaw and Partners third. The battle on really for fourth, fifth and sixth. Oh, Andu's just jibed a little wobbly on Point Piper, but not much pressure. Keep saying it, I know, but that's what's happening. There's a lot of holes in this breeze.
Well, the Rag has closed up about 5 or 8 boat lengths.
They got a bit closer to Andu then, yes.
Yep.
They got a header as they set the chute.
Yep. Still in a header on port. And it'll be starting to sweat a bit, I'd say. Good stuff.
There's Yandu on starboard. Behind them, Andu starboard, and also Rag and Famish.
Hey, Jimmy, do you remember a day that looked a bit like this when we saw Lee Napton in the last short run come from 11th to 4th in a heat of the Giltinan?
Yeah, but mate, Napo is that good. Like he can do things like that. You ever racing against Lee Napton, you never say it's over until you cross that finish line. He'll give you a sailing lesson every day of the week.
But I just remember how he did it. He ended up, he jibed in on port, onto the point, just got one little puff,
Yeah,
got the job done.
they only ever appear for him.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. I've never sailed against him. Maybe I'm
And
lucky.
I've started with him and against him, and so how they materialise, you just sort of go, wow.
Yeah.
That's the battle for fourth.
Yep.
Yandu, Andu, Rag and Famish.
And the Rag's right back into it. Wow.
It's going around this rather large laser fleet without trying to give them too much carry to get back to. I think this battle here is not probably the best.
Well, Peter, put the glasses down for 1, 2, 3. I think we can ride him into the sheet.
You pretty much have to say so, because Shaw and Partner's really got to jump from fourth place. He's way down the harbour. Smeg's way down the harbour, even further in Finport. I think on his way back, he's so far gone. Okay, there's Shaw and Partners. He's well past Bradley's.
And a bit of drama in the lee of Shark up there. They all ran out of wind. Yep. Lazarus has smashed them.
Yeah, well, the Rag has jibed. You can see Yandu's got a gust rolling over Yandu. Oh, look at Yandu just run out of gas.
Well, the Rag and Famish back into the new breeze. So Lazarus are going to probably get fourth out of that, but look at that. It's that crook for the guys that we're looking at on screen now.
Well, let's have a look at the Rag, who's jibed. There he is.
He's on the headed jibe on port there.
He's going to jibe again.
Going to jibe again.
And there's Lazarus, as you say. He's burgled his way through around the pack, but now the breeze has gone into the left, that Yandu and Andu have got bow down with pressure. And if we get around to have a look at Andu, he's just starting to roll Yandu.
Chasing out into the middle of the stream.
See them in a moment.
I'm not sure what the Rag should do here. He's run out of wind again. Going to jibe back.
Oh,
He sort of jibed out and came halfway across this breeze. Lazarus is in.
There's
and
Andu rolling Yandu. And poor old Rag, he looked good for a moment, but he doesn't look too good now. It's Yandu and Andu that have got the pressure up there.
In the nor'easter.
Yeah,
So
look at Lazarus hasn't got it now. He's got to go right bow up to them.
No, Rag's done all right. He's to lure to the other guys.
Yeah, but
You've got to get to the nor'easter though, by the look of that.
he was a lot closer to Andu at the mark. Look at him now, Rag. He's just drifting along.
No, the Fisher and Pike's got the breeze above him. Wow. Anyway, Yandu and Andu on screen, and
It's going to be an ugly jibe up there for those two. If
yeah, absolutely.
they've got to come back off Bradley's, bounce off Bradley's. Smeg is almost down at the leeward mark. Finport's almost halfway back up the weather beat somewhere.
Pete, just to the right of screen. Hopefully Lazarus doesn't get hit by too big of a puff.
You have to board the spectator ferry. Oh, I'm not sure the DA ever got approved for it. It's the ugliest barge ever.
Now, what does Yandu and Andu do? They're going right up into Bradley's. They surely can't keep going. They'll get right in the lee up there, won't they, Andrew?
Well,
They've got to come out, haven't they?
They'll just bounce off the white line. There's probably quite good wind there.
Yeah. But Lazarus smoking along. There's Andu and Yandu. Right in on Bradley's. Marcus Ashley Jones holding his nerve midstream. The Rag starting to rumble in the middle of the fleet.
Yeah, but Pete, the Lazarus is clearly fourth, yeah? He's bound at the mark, so they've got to cross him on the lifted jibe.
Yeah, I mean, Yandu's going to get let down here soon, you'd think, in the lee.
Well, there's a limit to how far you can go.
Look at this. Oh, wait. There's Andu to windward. He's right up to windward of Yandu. There's Lazarus with 2 strings. Yandu's still got pressure up there.
No risk involved, Peter, at all.
Oh, gee. Hard in your mouth for Andu and Yandu. Andu's run out of it now.
Yeah, he's got a job.
He's got to come out of there, surely.
That's going to
there he is.
Oh, he's going to go into tide on the jibe. Holy
Wow.
moly.
That was a bit untidy from the Andu boys.
Yeah, it's a bit like they lost some apparent for a bit there or something.
But Yandu is getting the bow down. They might sneak through here. Yandu. So they'd be still fourth.
Yeah, no, you're right, Pete.
Yeah.
Will Lazarus cross Andu? Lazarus is crossing Andu, though. And the rag is going to cross Andu as well.
No, Andu will cross the rag.
Just. That's amazing, isn't it? The difference is so
tight.
small, it's tight.
No, they're going to jibe early.
So they weren't crossing.
No. Starboard tack right's on the rag.
And the rag's just gone deep in response.
So the boat that did best there was Yandu. He didn't have to jibe, but now
and
Fisher Pike, Jordan Gertis. Wow, he's got the hammer down. He's come from nowhere. Got himself into 5th spot.
This is a race for 5th. Yeah, good wind coming. Jimmy.
There's good wind coming, as Jimmy's pointing out here on the camera cat. So it's bringing the tail enders up. Now look at Yandu. He's had to jibe. Oh, it looks ugly. Looks ugly for John Winning.
Yep.
Woody.
Yep.
There we go, that powerboat, Pete.
Oh, that powerboat, that's terrific. Yeah, that's a great job. That fool. Get a bit closer. Oh, dear, oh dear.
That is pretty untidy, isn't it?
I'm not pretty untidy. Bloody buffheadery. Look at that. Where are the MSP or whatever they call themselves? Stupid bureaucrats. Where are they? They should be out here. Surely pulling that bloke over. They pull blokes over because they've got a whistle on board. There's idiots like that ploughing through the fleet.
Here we go. Rag coming up to the cross.
Okay, well, back to the fleet.
My goodness.
So what we get out of all that, Lazarus has got himself into 4th.
Yandu 5th and Rag now 6th.
Yeah, it's a real battle here. The Burrowang's in it. Big Pete's coming storming up from the rear. And meanwhile, Keegan could be having a cup of tea.
No, they're slicing the line for the gin and tonic people.
And he is he's been around that leeward mark by about 4 or 5 minutes. Meg just about to go around it. And it's the Shaw and Partners have done a good job. They've opened away from the 4th place and closed a bit on 2nd.
Well,
still light here.
Smeg's done a good job. Still pretty dusty in the middle, isn't it? Vinport will be wise to think about going back to cover here.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get pinned down to the right, but...
No.
So, this is... Look at that. The boat on port jibe is Andu. And Fisher Paykel, they're going right out of the midstream. And it's Lazarus who's got himself in the mix.
Anyway, Pete, on screen, the clear leader, he's got 2 minutes and a half over Smeg. I'd say 2 minutes at least.
Oh, at least. Look, Smeg's just gone around the leeward mark.
Yeah.
No, it's Shaw and Partners. Smeg's just here
Yes.
off Robertson.
Oh, Smeg up here. Sorry, I was... Oh, look at our friends, the Japanese down there. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're being lapped. No, for once again, you're right, Andrew. A minor error on my behalf.
Occasionally I am right, Pete.
Yes, you'd want to get out there and protect yourself a bit, the old Finport.
Yep.
Oh, our Japanese friends are being lapped. Sorry. Okay.
Because now the guys that have got greedy on the high edge here, i.e. Rag, are going to come out. The order's going to reverse.
But look at the Andu has just rolled the dice, went out in the middle, and they're smoking through the middle.
Yeah.
That's them. That from the left is the Green Spinnaker of the Royal Oak, then the Andu, then Big Pete, Burrowang, Balmain Slate, then the Rag and Famish. And there's Smeg just coming back upwind on port. And yeah, I'd say Keegan would be okay, I think.
Yeah.
Just a couple
Just got to keep it looking over your shoulder, though.
Just keep looking over your shoulder.
a couple of little nervous looks.
Yeah, that's all you're allowed, Pete.
So what did we learn after all that? That Andu and Yandu have ended up about where they were at the windward mark.
Yeah.
And it's Lazarus who's really done the burgle.
Yeah. And I think that the Rag will be lucky to hang on to 7th here, or whatever that place is behind us.
Well, here's Marcus Ashley Jones. He's done a good job to get into 4th.
Some A-grade burglary for Marcus. Good on him.
Well, yeah, did very well.
Yeah.
He'll tell you it's all skill.
No, he'll admit it was good burglary to me. He's pretty honest.
So he's probably about a couple of minutes behind Shaw and Partners in third.
Okay, so now Rag's rumbling again at full speed, looking at the fleet here. Sorry, viewers, Lazarus around the corner here.
He's fourth.
Fourth, yep.
Okay, and a bit of breeze bringing the fleet down. Nothing extreme that's lifting them, if anything. The most would have to jibe back, you'd think. Certainly the Rag will. Yandu working hard to get down. They've just got a nice little gust here. That's a nice one to get them down. Andu hasn't got it yet. You can see them, they bow up, as is the Rag.
But now the Rag and the extreme head are on the edge near the white line. So you just don't know, Peter.
Gee, there'll be some headaches after this race.
Yep.
It's a tough day. In light airs, light easterly breeze. But Yandu aiming for fifth. So he'd be about a minute adrift of Lazarus in fourth spot. So Yandu fifth. Still see it's light here. There's Lazarus going upwind off Robertson Point.
Pete, at the mark, there's actually about 8 knots of wind. So, you know, there's a bit of fleet compression going on here.
Well, there is now. You'll see Andu charging down.
Yeah, these guys are going to get around here pretty clean. No congestion for them.
So Andu's six.
And Rag held their nerve there incredibly well.
So
wow.
Rag will be seventh.
Yeah.
Geez, they've got a nice little gust there.
Just a nice jibe drop.
Yeah, nice jibe drop.
No worries, right on the transom of Andu.
So it's Rag and Famish and Andu together once again.
Unbelievable almost, isn't it? And the Rag got the option here to tack. Don't know if they will, but they've got the option.
So do you protect the right or where do you go? It's tough again, isn't it?
That's why we're on the camera button.
Now you go too far to the left.
I think the Rag will tack, yep.
You get too far to the left, you get pinned up there.
They tacked as soon as they got the chute comfortably in the bag, knowing that Andu is pressed out to the left.
In dirty air with all this fleet coming down.
And the spinnakers,
So Big Pete will be next.
Wow, that's dangerous for Andu. That is really dangerous.
Yeah, there's not much breeze up there. Big Pete next, then Balmain Slate. Oh, the Royal Oak with a green spinnaker just wobbling up and down.
Yeah, so this is the old story. The peloton keeps getting glued back together. And dirty air abounds.
And there's Noakes Blue. Where have they come from? They've come from nowhere. And that's the green spinnaker. We'll see in a moment. There's Big Pete around, a little untidy. What's going on, boys? Come on.
Yeah, but not bad. They got at least in front of the pack.
Yeah. So it's Noakes Blue on the outside, Balmain Slate. Royal Oak, it's been clobbered by Marine Outlets. Then in comes the Burrowang and Fisher Paykel. God, Fisher Paykel looks as though they get fourth at 1 minute. Now they're back to about 15th. It's that sort of day. Oh, the Royal Oak. Oh, who's missed it? Burrowang's missed the mark. So he's got a bit to do. He's got to get the spinnaker down, go back and get around the mark.
So did you say a bit to do?
Oh, a lot to do, perhaps. Oh, look at this here. The Balmain Slate got no breeze. Royal Oak's the winner out of all of that. The loser's the Burrowang. Look at this, just all collapsed, the wind here.
Yeah, lift off here.
It's absolutely collapsed.
So this spells danger for Andu. The Rag and Famish nearly, and sorry viewers, in the middle of the creek in front of us, but the Rag and Famish nearly into the breeze in the middle of the harbour. They have gone quite fast.
So the poor old Burrowang, has got to go back around the mark. Anyway, we're going upwind again for the final time. So, slow progress indeed in this light easterly breeze, the first heat of the championship for this year. Race 1 of the JJ Giltinan, second heat tomorrow. Talk about that in a moment, or after this race is finished. Royal Oak, skippered by Alex Marinelli, Matt Doyle and Darcy McCracken on board there. You can see that the boat's still coming downwind with light breeze. There's not much breeze in the left, Andrew, is there?
No, No,
Not much breeze anywhere.
It's lifted off. That breeze that was a little katabatic over the back of the hill has just lifted off, and warm water day, it's what happens.
Yep.
Not a funneling sea breeze type day.
23 degrees the water temperature here on the harbour, Sydney Harbour. As the afternoon wears on, it's just after 4 o'clock local time. It's Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Let's have a look at the Balmain Slate, boys. Hello to Danny Hoare, who's just finished sailing at Port Hubbard, 16-foot skiff club. Not much breeze up there, Danny reports either, so not much breeze on the east coast, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be more tomorrow.
The forecast for tomorrow looks pretty solid, but let's see what happens. Because this is even more awkward than I thought. You know, both in terms of the dynamics of the wind, yeah.
And well, this is interesting. Have a look at this.
Yeah, so I did say Andrew was taking a bit of risk. They almost got shoved into it. But the Rag and Famish...
Well, that's Rag way in the distance on a nice header.
Chose the correct option here.
Andrew looking for the left-hander. He can't get it yet.
No, it's gone. I mean, Pete, what was the here? And here's a hard thing to understand in this sort of structure of wind. Whatever the wind was 5 minutes ago, it won't be in 5 more minutes, you know. And so, what happened that last beat? Yeah, just got to pick what it is at the moment that you're there. And I hope you can join the dots together. Quite volatile.
Okay, so there's Lazarus in 4th position. He's in the middle of the harbour, midstream, and in good pressure. The threat to him will come from Yandu, who's basically dead to leeward, so there's Yandu. So, again, they're coming out into the middle with pressure. Furthest top of screen, that's the Rag.
We need the telescope to find the leader.
Well, the telescope to find the 3 leaders, really. Yeah. They have absolutely bolted.
Yeah.
So I'd say Lazarus is probably 4th, Yandu 5, and the Rag 6.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it looks. Jimmy's got him.
I found Smeg and Finport.
Yeah.
Just up off Edwards there.
Oh yeah, okay, copy. I've got the Finport on starboard at Point Piper, correct.
Okay, well, Smeg, Rag and Famish is tacked. Oh, there's Shore and Partners in 3rd spot, just off Double Bay.
So the richer got richer again, Pete.
It looks like it, very much so.
Keegan shout tonight. There you go.
Great shot of Shore and Partners. A very solid 3rd at the moment. Just got to go round this windward mark up in Rose Bay and then run down to the finishing line.
Shore and Partners will come into shot here on the left. Probably Finport as well, Pete. Shortly.
Smeg in the background.
There's Smeg
in the background. And
then right up there's Finport just getting round the stern of that big...
And Finport right in the background, yep.
Yeah, there's Finport.
Smeg and Finport.
Hitting the eastern end of Point Piper. There you go, there's Finport not far off attack. There he goes. So he's still 300 or 400 metres from the weather mark.
And still some pretty big holes. And typically, this late in the day, early autumn, it starts to get very shaky. And that's what we're seeing, Jimmy, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not sailing today, mate.
Yeah, it's a tough day. Well, there's Finport. Keegan York in a nice little bit of gust off Point Piper. Holding a very, very good lead. as he has really from the weather mark the first time over Smeg. You can be very happy with his performance, Smeg, too. Very good effort from Michael Coxon.
Yeah, and it's not his favourite breeze. Cocko's, you know, preference is for full stretch, so between the three of them, they've done a good job today. And I'd give some credit to that to Trent, actually.
To Trent.
Yeah. Sorry.
On the short partners.
To Jimmy.
Dodds.
To Dodds, sorry.
Dodds, yeah.
Go on.
He won't trust me with his Rolex watch anymore, Jimmy. He reckons you'll steal it off me.
There's a good
That's what he
chance
told
of
me.
that.
He heard you took it down to the pawn shop for valuation.
That's PAWN, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, well, there's the two leaders.
In shot. The Smeg navigating a laser fleet pre-start, and right in the background, Finport getting up towards the top mark with
Geez, it's light, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, we've got to do the same thing here.
You can see just two strings.
The extra points for 3 lasers under the hull.
If you do the paperwork, I'll perform the task. How's that for a deal, Bucko?
Paperwork for that would probably take about a year, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Anyway,
See the difference in heading. Smeg's just coming down now a little bit. On a big header, there's Finport.
he doesn't care about the headers anymore, Peter.
No, he just wants pressure.
I'm telling you,
But look at the difference there.
Yeah,
That's what this day has been all about.
just looking for wind, mate.
The pressure just gives you that lift. Oh,
Here he goes. I think he's on a lay from there. Bit of northeast. Wow, it's untidy though, isn't it? My goodness.
tidy because there's no wind.
Yeah.
There's
Cheers. Yeah.
There's just going to drop off at here, Smeg. There's a little gust coming to him. Might be one to tack in. Yeah, there he goes.
Joining the dots is getting harder and harder and harder and harder, Peter. That's what I would observe here.
Battens through and still no one out. Extended on the wire. James Doran just trying to get out. Tom Anderson to leeward. Oh, look at that. That is soft.
Not on deep enough, really, the rig, but anyway.
That is soft. Finport in the distance is not around yet. There he is. You can see the orange mark. That's the turning mark, the windward mark.
But he's got nearly twice as much wind as
Yes.
the Smeg.
Okay, Smeg's starting to just get a bit of a rumble.
In the background there, viewers, my other funny pursuit, the Yendies, the mighty Yendies, with Donny Buckley in charge, chasing down the 9-minute Aussie 4 Yendies with the red anchor in the historic skiff race, designed that won the Australian title in 1931.
Bit slow with the spinnaker, the old Admiral. What's he doing?
Ah, well, you know, training new men, training new men.
Bucko's not there to bark at him, Shippo.
Yeah.
No, they're just sailing out for the mark to jibe.
And they can see how light it is here. We're with Smeg. It's got Tom Anderson to leeward. Cocko looking for the puffs. Still Finport not around the mark.
Yeah.
He's laying in now. He's right at it, I think.
The Admiral's done the right thing there, Pete. He's jibed the Yendies and they're going starboard pole to the finish. Anyway, back with
Finport just around.
Back with Smeg. So,
Smeg tagging.
what do you reckon that delta is? How long's for the Smeg to get up there?
Oh, dear. I'll give him 2 minutes 58. Oh, no, 3 minutes 11.
Yeah, I'd say 4 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so they're homeward bound on the Finport.
And a nice little puff coming out of the right edge up here. So they'll get down to Point Piper and then you can swim from there, Peter. Even you could win from there.
Absolutely. I could have won from the windward mark the first time.
Good show.
There's the Finport.
So in a nice 8-knot puff by the look of that. 7 knots anyway.
2 crew on the wire.
Yeah. BMG running for 8.
One sitting in, and they've just got a little header to get down.
Be a very popular victory, this one. Oh, maybe for some of the punters.
Popular down at St George, where Keegan, that's his other home club, is St George.
It's a great shot. Great shot. They're just running into Point Piper. They've probably got about 2 or 3 jibes left.
So if they're efficient,
here they go.
2 jibes. To the lay line, please.
Oh, such a tricky day. Got pressure to jibe in. How's the time delta going, Andrew?
Coming to 2 minutes.
Okay, they're still about a minute away. And the battle for third is pretty clear cut in Shaw and Partners. Oh, Finport getting soft.
Yeah, just to leave the island. I'm not sure they needed to cross it. They could have probably. Oh, wow.
Jibing back.
Yeah.
Okay, Smeg approaching the weather mark in second place as Finport jibes in very light air. What's the time delta, Andrew?
2:30 already.
What is it?
2:30.
2:30, he's there now.
So he had a much easier beat up than the Finport boys did. Amazing.
Anyway, it's a very solid lead to Finport.
Yeah.
So they're almost home and almost hosed for the first heat. Finport leads, Smeg second, Shaw and Partners third, and the battle royal is for fourth. It looks like Lazarus has got himself well and truly into fourth position. Yandu looks to be fifth. I don't know where Andu ended up in all of that. Up to windward there, up there. Breeze gone into the left a little. And there's a great shot of Finport running into the western end of Point Piper. And
be pretty close. Look, just looking at the rest of the fleet viewers.
they're going to be close for fourth.
And fifth and sixth.
Yes.
And seventh.
I think all those boys will take that position because they were deep and buried early on. But anyway, he has been absolutely outstanding today, Keegan. Just kept on keeping on. A very, very good performance. Not really to be unexpected. Everyone thought he did well in that Australian title. A new boat this year. A couple more jibes and they're home. But still a long way to go in this series. Another 8 races, but gee, nice to get that first one under your belt.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes for a good week.
Yeah,
Yeah, sets you up for a good week, Jimmy, exactly.
The mood in the camp improves immensely. And they made, you know, obviously a lot of good decisions, but what they did on the first beat was pretty impressive. But equally, Pete, in the Nationals, they were very solid. Tactically, they were solid, right? So there's optimism, I think, will be the right word for them.
Yeah, he's probably one more jibing in, I would think. The spectator ferry on station at the finishing line. Just to welcome them home. And a few of the punters might have won $1 or $3, perhaps. A lot of punters might have lost $1 or $3.
Yeah, a fair bit of money going on Andu, which the bookie would cheerfully receive.
Okay, there's the final jibe, perhaps. No, maybe not.
No, a bit early.
Yeah,
and bumpy
maybe not.
water and no wind.
Yeah, story of the day, really. The no wind.
Yeah.
See the Balmain Slakes still going upwind. Gee, it's been a long beat back from Currabilly and this light air.
Yep. A little puff coming. I think they're close, Pete. Just maybe one more jibe. But
yep, one more jibing in.
Here's the puff, just on us now. We're just right close to Finport on the committee boat, on the camera boat.
Nice little puff to get away on. So Keegan York, Angus Williams and Phil Marshall are going to win the first heat of the JJs for 2023 and win the George Calligaris Memorial Trophy, a fitting reward for an outstanding performance on a very light and shifty Sydney Harbour. One jibing in. Standing by now, there they go. About 30 metres into the finishing line.
No bucking around on the jibing.
No, very, very nice.
That's a little hot, Peter.
A little hot. Oh.
A full 90-degree jibing.
It's all right.
Oh, boys.
They can relax. Well done. Terrific performance.
First little error, probably.
Congratulations all round the fin port.
Wow. Where's Pete Calligaris, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Over there.
They must be very happy with that, but 8 races to go. But an outstanding start. And they'd be very, very happy with that effort on a very tricky day for the first heat. But Finport on their way home, they've finished. Now the battle for the minor placings, which should say that at the moment Smeg looking good for second. Breeze now still about 6 or 7 knots at best. The puffs of 7 knots, the lulls about 5. Smeg coming in now on port jibe. He'll be about 2 minutes behind, maybe a bit less than Finport. Michael Coxon and James Doran, Tom Anderson. Very, very good performance.
Good sail from them. Absolutely.
So, still a man in the boat, just shows how light it is.
Oh, yeah, but they're nice VMG run on the face of a puff, Pete.
Yeah, but it's just nice and light. 6 or 7 knots.
Yeah.
I think we could get home from there, couldn't we? Almost.
I could swim towing you, Peter. How's that?
Well done, Coco. He'll be pleased with that effort.
Yep.
His injured crewman, Ricky Briggs, looking on. We saw him get on the ferry, so I'm sure he'll be very happy with the performance that Doro and Tom Anderson and Coco put in. Very good effort. Second place, across the line and sailor home. Now the battle going on for 3rd and 4th, but Shaw and Partners looks solid for 3rd. Smeg 2nd. So there's Shaw and Partners on starboard jibe. Dave O'Connor. They are a long way ahead of the 4th boat. A long way ahead. He's not far off a jibe here, the Shaw and Partners. Just see how light it is. The breeze is collapsing everywhere at the moment.
And she's a big game and find the wind.
Yes, it is, absolutely. Shaw and Partners just jibing, not much pressure. Look at that. Oh,
Hardly.
he's got a lot in hand though. He's 4 or 5 minutes ahead of the 4th place boat.
Oh no, the gaps are monstrous.
Yes, yeah. Both in time and in distance.
Been a bit like that though, hasn't it, all day? The rich get richer and Lazarus around the top.
Lazarus is around in 4th, but you wouldn't. They're all the chasing pack are pretty close, so you wouldn't consolidate that position on the scorecard yet.
Now we'll leave it in pencil, soft pencil.
Yeah, soft HB pencil. Shore and Partners. Got their jib stuck to windward at the top. Just drifting downwind.
Jib will be right when they jibe.
Yeah, that'll be perfect when they jibe. So they're about 200 metres downwind of the finishing line. Just running into double bay and running out of pressure.
Wow. Some funny spiky bits of wind coming.
Oh,
You have one of those funny light air capsizes
yes.
where you're going so slowly the rudder won't steer the boat. And the puff gets you.
Very big jibe angles. There's a
Just over 90, 95 knots. So but looking back up the track, Pete,
It's very light and very ugly. Anyway, we're on Shore and Partners.
the rag got in front of Andu.
Okay, well, there you go. Shore and Partners, one more jibing in. Dave O'Connor, Trent Barnabas and Tom Quigley, well done. Oh, hang on to it, boys.
Yeah. What was I saying, Pete?
Yeah.
Nice lay line though, Peter.
Very nice. Just leave the spinnaker up and end up on the beach.
Yep.
That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Nice accurate steering. They're getting lifted. We get a little puff.
Little puff. Another one coming off the headland. Breeze back in the right here.
Gee, I know we've said it a million times, but it's been a very tricky day. Very tricky.
Tell Doro is a bit under trim. Sorry. Not Doro, what am I saying? Got the mate ship, buddy.
Trent.
Trent, a bit under trimmed. But still. Soggy has.
Yeah,
Have a look at the puff, Pete.
They're going to get a good puff in a minute, probably the puff of the day, but
Just
Well
as you're
done.
pulling the spinnaker down.
well done to Shore and Partners. Very solid third.
Yeah, no, good third place.
We'll be happy with that. Now the battle for fourth. Well, at the moment, we'll get back to it, but it looks as though Marcus Ashley Jones, perhaps in the Lazarus, has got the chocolates here. Yandu, perhaps fifth. And where's the rag? Oh, he got dumped. He went into Point Piper.
Yeah, not too sure how that might play out.
No, that didn't look too good. And now the breeze in the left here, where the Lazarus is,
Just a
left
fresh,
with pressure.
a fresh little puff down the middle of the harbour.
This might let Andu get ahead of the rag. Gee, he rolled the dice there, the rag. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I think he's happy with it though, Pete. I think
he's just starting to get pressure.
Yeah,
But anyway,
he's
we'll
starting to get
concentrate
pressure.
on Lazarus.
so that's for fourth, right? The Lazarus.
Lazarus fourth, yes.
I wonder if he'll get his mates a recut on Monday after all.
He was getting it recut, was he?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Well, you know, no height yesterday,
Just so he could.
so he could.
But that was, he had big side yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
yes, in
yeah,
the
yeah.
invitation race. Anyway, he was deep early, but extracted himself well.
It's a nice work downwind.
Rob Bell, Geronimo Harrison, that very solid crew.
Here we
Nice
go.
job, lovely.
And
Quite
pretty
a tight lay line, but
aggressive angle, but there we go.
just trying to flick the battens across. Whoa.
And
Oh, you can
hello,
nearly
boys. Hello, big header.
Yeah,
Marcus, Marcus nearly
don't
tumbled
wobble
into the
now,
bottom of the
Marcus,
boat.
don't wobble now. No, he's getting up there very nicely. There's the mark just ahead of him. Committee boat ahead of that. He's laying in very nicely in fourth spot. Well done.
That's
Solid.
that's the net of the main still
Yeah,
inverted,
net inverted, but
but not going to worry about that.
no. So just put the bow down now. Well done. Fourth to Lazarus. Well done, boys, he says. Well done indeed. Now,
5, 6, 7, 8 coming
yeah,
out.
coming at you indeed. Not at a great rate of knots, but coming at us.
So I think Yandu's going to get 5th. I think the order's there. Andrew's going to get 6th.
Well, Big Pete's put himself into the mix.
Yeah.
The big loser there's been Rag and Famish. Ooh.
Yeah, gone the wrong way.
Yeah. So
Probably a bit of the roll of the dice, Pete, because being 7th was not much use to him, I don't think.
well, every point counts, Andrew.
Yeah, but
Didn't you say rounded in front of
yeah, he
Andrew?
did. An 8th is a discard, so there you go.
So son chasing father. Yandu looks as though he'll get 5th. And Yandu's screaming down in more pressure, but he's not going to catch Yandu.
You wouldn't think so.
Just consistent again, old Woody.
And they've been separated by about that much all day,
Yeah,
haven't they? You
yeah.
know?
No doubt about him. He's there or thereabouts each week in the Yandu. And so he will be just going across now. Top of screen is Yandu 5th.
Yeah.
Yandu will be 6th.
And they'll be relieved to get 6th, I think.
There's
Disappointed but relieved in a certain
Yandu
sense.
just jiving across the finishing line. Yandu 5th, Yandu 6th. Been a long race. There was a general recall and very slow progress in this light easterly breeze. That maximum gust was probably 8 knots, but more 5 to 6 knots. As Yandu crosses in 6th spot. Now, who's next?
Be probably Noakes Big Pete.
Big Pete is 7th. Well,
Yeah,
from where he was, I'd
Big Pete
probably be half happy with that.
Going to get 7th, indeed, yep. And the Rag praying for a good one off the point, but
So,
not going to happen, is it?
7th, the Big Pete, Sean Langman, Reese Mara and Ed Powers. Here they come now. They've 20 metres from the finishing line or so. So they're 7th. 8th will be the Rag. I would think no one else is going to get in between he and Big Pete. Big Pete just jiving to cross the line. They're across.
But they've kept fighting, haven't they?
They have.
Good work, man. Here comes the Rag going,
So-
oh my God.
Well, you'd have to say from where they were early on, I think they'll be reasonably happy to end up 8th.
Yeah, but they'd be ruining the fact they probably could have got 5th.
Well,
The 5th in this fleet is a counter in this funny light air series that we think we're about to have.
so now there's a fair gap to 9th and 10th. So, Andrew, let's talk about tomorrow, because the second heat tomorrow at 2:45 Sydney time. What do you think weather-wise?
Well, the models are still a bit all over the shop, but expectation is perhaps quite windy northeast, perhaps 15, but perhaps 18 in that range. So definitely number 2 rig, I think, but a bit's got to happen overnight with the surface pressure map for that to occur, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I'll just let you know what the Bureau of Meteorology is saying for tomorrow. They are saying...
And their harbour close water forecast are usually pretty good.
Okay, as we're watching a battle here for
Fisher and Pykel.
9th, well, he's come out of the clouds. 9th, Fisher and Pykel. Jordan Gertis, well done. So 10th,
Battle for 10th is going to be on
Balmain,
Balmain,
Slade.
Noakes Blue and Burrowing.
So let's leave the forecast for the moment. Fisher Pykel 9-10 will be Balmain.
Balmain's going to get a
Yeah.
chance.
11th Burrowing and Noakes Blue.
12.
Well, they did well, Noakes Blue. They were
The poor old peloton though, they kept running into each other all day. Bounce, crash, whoa, out of my way. Crikey.
How was that jibe mark at Clark Island the first
Oh,
time?
that
That was sensational.
fantastic action, wasn't it?
Classic stuff.
So let me have a look here, Andrew, at what the bomb says for tomorrow. All forecasts. Sydney and closed waters.
Is that one?
Sunday, north to northwesterly, below 10 knots tending north to northeasterly, 15 to 25 knots in the middle of the day.
There you go.
So a brisk, fresh to frightening nor'easter. Well, would that be good? In contrast to today,
Yeah, so the compression of the isobars on the sort of approach of the next cold front, you know, backing wind with a bit of thermal added to it. Pretty good stuff. And that's Sydney closed waters forecast, usually pretty good.
so we're just waiting for the tail enders now to come in. We've got 12 boats home. I don't think our Japanese friends finished. Jimmy, did they? I saw them
No,
floundering. That's probably the best word I could use.
off to teppanyaki, mate. They had a
Teppanyaki.
early booking at 5 o'clock.
A bit of sake. Is that what they drink?
Yep.
Okay, the Royal Oak coming across in 13th. So, let's recap before we finish up here. The day belonged to Keegan York and his crew of Gus Williams and Phil Marshall, a very clear winner in the first heat of the 2023 JJs. Second was Speg, Michael Coxon. Third, Shaw and Partners. Fourth, Lazarus. Fifth, Yandu. Sixth, Andu. Seventh, Big Pete. Eighth, Rag and Famish. Ninth, Fisher Paykel. 10th, the Balmain Slake. 11, Burrowang. 12, Noakes Blue. And then the Royal Oaks 4 Pine in lucky 13th. On a very tricky light weather day on the harbour. Tomorrow, the forecast is for good, strengthening northeasterly breezes between 15 to 25 knots. So let's hope that forecast comes true. So on behalf of all the guys here, we've done a great job again. We hope you've enjoyed it wherever you've been viewing around the world. We know we've got viewers America, United Kingdom, Thailand, Brisbane, Western Australia. So we say hello to you and we look forward to your company. On behalf of all the team, Peter Shipway, a very good afternoon from a sun-blessed Sydney Harbour and look forward to your company tomorrow.